spring in baseball. The homestand did feature some great pitching, a couple of walk-off wins, and some teams and things we've never seen before. So put a smile on your face. A win today will make it all feel better. Good afternoon, everyone. From Veterans Stadium, welcome to Phillies baseball. Final game of the series, the Phils and the Minnesota Twins. Sunny, warm day here at the Vet today. Harry Callis with Chris Wheeler and Larry Anderson. And Phillies Inter-League play was good on the road, not so good here at home.
Yeah, they thought they'd play well at home, Harry, because they did. As you said, they played really well in that series on the road, but not so great here at Veterans Stadium, and that's an understatement. See what's happened so far. They would just like to win today to win the series. Look at the team batting average. Everybody points to pitching. It hasn't been pitching. It's a lack of offense. 3 extra inning games, and they're 1-2. And extra inning games you like to win at home. Now, last night in extra innings, Mike Lieberthal gave the Phillies a chance to get to extra innings. Their only run of the game hit that curveball of J.C. Romero for a home run in the 8th inning to tie the game. But then this funky hit by Matthew LeCroy down the right field line on a changeup off Dan Plesac for 1 run. And then with the bases loaded, Ricky Bottalico came in, a high breaking ball to Justin Moore, and he ripped it into left field. That scored 2 more, and the Twins would go on to win the game 4-1 in extra innings. But the problem in this homestand, as it has been all year, really is a lack of a consistent offense. You look at their numbers, and the team batting average is not that bad, but they just don't score runs, and they don't hit with runners in scoring position, and as a result, they don't score enough runs to win most well-pitched games.
One of the pitchers, L.A., who could sue for lack of support is Randy Wolf. The Phillies haven't supported him with much in the way of offense.
No, they haven't, Harry. In fact, 3 of his last 4 games have been quality starts, but his last 4 games, the Phillies have scored 8 runs. So, they've been getting good pitching. Randy Wolf's last time out threw the ball very well. He had pretty good command, helps himself on a line shot right back at him, but he was spotting his fastball pretty well, had a good breaking ball using both sides of the plate. But in the 7th inning, a walk led to the end of his night, and he really did pitch well. He should have fared better. There's been a number of games he's pitched this year that he should have won. 6 2/3 innings, only 2 hits in that game, but 5 walks. That really hurt him, but he really battled, threw a lot of pitches. But, the one thing when a starter goes out there, the one thing that you want is for your starter to give you a chance to win. Randy Wolf has been doing that.
Randy Wolf will have the ball this afternoon for the Phils. A pair of left-handers, Johan Santana for Minnesota. Jimmy Rollins bobbing head dowels for all youngsters 14 and under today here at the Vet. And we'll be back with the starting lineups right after these messages. Phillies base and stay. The Phillies have taken the field for the final game of this series. Ron Gardenhire's starting lineup for Minnesota has Christian Guzman at shortstop leading off. Doug Mientkiewicz first base bats second. Dustin Moore left field hitting third. Matthew LeCroy will catch and bat fourth. Corey Koski at third base hits fifth. Bobby Kelty, the center fielder, bats sixth. Brian Buchanan in right field hitting seventh. Luis Rivas, the second baseman, bats eighth. Johan Santana, the pitcher, hitting ninth. That lineup is facing 25-year-old Randy Wolf.
Randy Wolf trying for the 6th time for his 4th win. 3-5 record, a fairly high earned run average. Few less hits than innings, 36 walks, 57 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .254. Left-handers better than right-handers, surprisingly, after what he did against them last year. But he has been pitching pretty well, has not had a lot of run support. Good numbers at home, not so good on the road.
In his last 8 starts, the Phillies are averaging 2.1 runs per game for him. And in his 5 losses, just 1.2 runs. Christian Guzman, switch hitting shortstop, leads it off, batting a lot better left-handed than right. He's hitting .259 overall. Just .208 right-handed. And Randy Wolf's first pitch of the ball game is pop foul out of play. 1 strike to Christian Guzman. The umpires tonight, young Kevin Kelly is behind the plate. Bruce Fleming, the crew chief, back with them at first base. Tony Randazzo at second and Larry Poncino at third. Two quick strikes to Christian Guzman. Rolling down backups at third base with 2 strikes on Guzman. Scott Rowland back in the lineup. Guzman is caught looking. Randy Wolf starts it with a strikeout. 1 down here in the top of the first.
That's the way to get it going. Get the Wolf back into it right from the get-go. A good fastball right there on the black. Randy Wolf getting 6.5 strikeouts per 9, but the walks 4.1 per 9 is a bit high.
And here's a guy that will certainly take walks. Doug Mientkiewicz, third in the American League in getting bases on balls. He's hitting at .255. Lost a foul out of play. Mientkiewicz with 51 walks. Only Jim Thome and Carlos Delgado have more in the American League. One ball and 1 strike. 62nd anniversary wishes today to Mary and Mike Bratspis of Philadelphia, celebrating their 62nd wedding anniversary. And Anna Watts of Vineland, New Jersey, celebrating an 84th birthday on this June 23rd. Two balls and a strike. Back through the middle, base hit center field. Mientkiewicz. So he has a 1-out base runner, and that'll bring up Dustin Moore.
Last start, Randy Wolf, same thing. I guess this ball's out of his reach. I thought that ball was closer to him. The line shot right back through the middle. Snagged one of those in his last start.
Moore hitting at .312. He has 5 homers, 19 RBIs. Big Phillies fan Betty Saraceno celebrating a birthday today, which is from Bill Brasco and from us to Betty Saraceno. Haven't been very successful in their running game. They've stolen 39, but they've been thrown out of the American League, leading 31 times. 1-1 the count to Dustin Moore. Changeup fooled him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Twins have a 5-game lead in American League Central over the Chicago White Sox, and the White Sox are losing at Atlanta again in the second inning, 4-0.
Wow. Atlanta's won 11 of their last 14. Putting some distance between themselves and the rest of the pack, and especially the Phillies.
You can see the American League Central standings. White Sox 5 back, then Cleveland 6, and Kansas City and Detroit well back. In the East, those Atlanta Braves, as usual, have the lead in the NL East. 5.5 games over Florida and Montreal, 7.5 over the Mets, and 12.5 over the Phils. Nubbing ground ball up the middle. Jimmy Rollins tags the bag. Low throw dug out by Travis Lee. It's a 6-3 Twin killing. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and none left after 1/2. Minnesota nothing, and the Phils coming to bat. And the first. Larry Bowa's starting lineup for the Phils. They bat in the bottom half. Jimmy Rollins at shortstop leads off. Doug Glanville center field bats second. Bobby Abreu right field hitting third. Matt Burrow left field bats fourth. Scott Rowland back in the lineup at third base hits fifth. Travis Lee first base batting sixth. Tomas Perez will be at second base today. He'll hit seventh. Todd Pratt the catcher batting eighth. Randy Wolf pitches hitting ninth. They're facing the 23-year-old left-hander Johan Santana.
Johan Santana, 3 starts. He's been in 4 games overall, but as a starter, 2-1 record, a very good earned run average of 2.25 as a starter. This is his overall numbers. He's done a pretty good job for him. Left-handers have only 2 for 14 off him, hitting 143. Right-handers at 277. His fastball being in the low 90s, a good fastball. Got impressive stuff, but he can be erratic with that fastball. He's got a pretty good slider and changeup.
Jimmy Rollins leads it off. J-Roll hitting at 269. Trying to snap an 0 for 18 skid. One ball and no strikes to Rollins. 10th birthday wishes today to Lauren Figazzotto from Grandmom Antoinette, Grandpa Fred, and from us to Lauren Figazzotto.
LaCroix having some problems there. He doesn't spend a whole lot of time behind that plate. So Santana's may have to wait a little bit. Phillies have had some serious offensive woes, and you look at Rollins, Anderson, Rowland, and Burrell in their last 102 at bats, 6 hits, 1 home run, no other extra base hits, a total of 4 RBIs. That pretty much tells a story about this offense right now.
Top of the lineup has really struggled of late. 2 balls and no strikes to Jimmy Rollins.
Tom Prince trying to fix it for his catcher.
3-0 the count to J-Roll. He'll take a walk to get things going for the Phils here. If Santana's going to give it to him. Got that one over. 3-1.
Looks in the early going like Kevin Kelly, home plate umpire, is going to call the strike at the knees or bottom of the knees.
It's a full count now to Jimmy Rollins. All backing out of play into the upper deck.
Great crowd on hand here today, too.
Our Pico Energy Power Ranking, Sammy Sosa leads the National League with 26. 3 players have 22 in the American League. Alex Rodriguez with 20. And 3 players with 19. Got him with a breaking ball. Rollins goes down swinging. 1 down here in the bottom of the first. It'll bring up Doug Glanville.
And this is one of the big keys for Santana, is that good hard breaking ball.
Send our best wishes for a speedy recovery to George Kehoe, who is a gate supervisor here at Veterans Stadium. George is recuperating in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And George is feeling better real soon. 1 strike to Doug Glanville.
Trying to get an idea about Santana, I'd ask Bert Blyleven, as you see the Atlanta Braves score there, home run by Furcal. Andrew Jones also.
Change up, nothing in 2.
Asked Bert, I said, what does Santana feature? I leaned into their booth, and Sammy Bertini, their camera guy over there, turns to me and goes, well, there's Black Magic Woman, there's Oye Como Va. I'm like, not that Santana.
We're talking Johan here. The 23-year-old Venezuelan. Ball and 2 strikes. A little bit high. 2-2 the count to Glanville. After the high pitch and fouls it off. Still 2-2. Before the game, the Phillies made a roster move. Ricky Bottalico has been placed on the 15-day disabled list with strained right shoulder. Doug Nickel was called up from Scranton-Wilkes-Barre. Nickel is available today. Foul back to the screen. 2-2. It holds to Doug Glanville with 1 out, no base runners. Ground ball third base. Koski gathers it up. Glanville out by his stride. That's 2 down here in the bottom of the first, and then we'll bring on Bobby Abreu. Abreu hitting a .305. Second in the league in doubles with 24. He's hit 4 homers, knocking 37. Ninth in the league in on-base percentage. Inside, 1 ball and no strikes to Abreu. Those after the game will be winging out to Fort Lauderdale to take on those Marlins. 4-game series starting tomorrow night. Vicente Padilla against Julian Tavares tomorrow night.
They won't have to worry about Castillo's hitting streak any longer.
No, it was halted last night as Luis went 0 for 4, holding a 35-game hitting streak, an all-time record for hitting streak by a second baseman. Pops it in the air to shallow center field. Coming in is Kelty, and he puts it away. 1-2-3 inning for Santana. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. After 1, Phil's nothing, Twins nothing. Matthew LeCroy leads it off for Minnesota here. The catcher hitting at .342. He was tearing them up at AAA Edmonton before being called up. .385 with 9 homers and 35 RBIs in 32 games at Edmonton. LeCroy is a 26-year-old in South Carolina. Line drive into right field. Abreu won't get this one. One hopping off the fence, and Abreu fields it well, and LeCroy will settle for a single.
Nice play by Bobby out there. Plays it perfectly off the wall.
Brings on Corey Koski, the third baseman. Koski hitting at .248. Off a curveball, 1 strike to Koski. And our best for speed recovery to Joe Jaskolika at DuPont Hospital in Delaware, recuperating from brain surgery. Hope Joe's feeling better real soon. No balls and 2 strikes to Koski. Him with a fastball. Koski goes down swinging. The second strikeout for Randy Wolf. 1 down here in the second. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Phillies and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Phillies. Here's switch hitting center fielder Bobby Kelty. Kelty hitting at .325. Fouls this one back and out of play. 1 strike to Kelty. 87th birthday wishes today to Anna Donahue, Northern Liberties section of Philadelphia, from daughter Pat, granddaughter Anna, and from us to Anna Donahue. Line drive, left center field. Burrow can't hang on. Moving up to second base is Lee Croy, close to a great catch by Pat Burrow, who gets a round of applause for his effort. A base hit for Kelty.
That's a tremendous effort. That's obviously extra bases, maybe a run in for Minnesota. You could see him how mad he was when he gets up and he just slams his fist into his glove. I mean, he wants to make the play. That's a heck of an effort right there. Actually, the ground knocked the ball loose.
So the Twins have 2 men on base, 1 out for Brian Buchanan. Buchanan hitting at .261. First round draft pick out of the University of Virginia, 94. Curveball, smothered foul. What a play by Al Newman. Al Newman had to get away, get the boiler out of the way, and once having done that, he was able to make a great play.
Pretty good infielder in his day.
Yes, he was. One ball and 1 strike to Brian Buchanan. You're thinking double play, ground ball. This guy, for a big guy, can really run. Yeah. He really gets down the line.
This is one of the few teams that I've seen, other than the Phillies, that run the bases right, that run hard, run balls out. I mean, when I look around the league, or both leagues, the teams we've seen, I've not seen teams that go hard on every ball they hit like the Phillies, but this Minnesota team does, and Ron Gardenhire demands that these guys play hard and play the game right. They got some young kids, but they know how to play.
Ball and a strike to Buchanan.
He's a first-year manager.
Bouncing ball, chopped. They're going to get 1. They're probably not going to get 2. A chance to get 2, but they get Kelty at second base. Lee Croy moves up to third. Buchanan at first on a fielder's choice, and with 2 outs, it'll bring up Luis Rivas. Rivas having a pretty good year. He's hitting at .293. 22-year-old second baseman. 59th anniversary wishes today to Mr. and Mrs. Mike Dove. 1 strike to Rivas. Third base coach Al Newman hit 1 home run in his career. And the day he hit his lone home run, Bob Warner hit 4 of them. So nobody paid much attention to Al Newman's homer.
Got overshadowed just a bit.
A little bit. Ball and a strike to Rivas. Off-speed pitch that he beats foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We'll pause for station identification on the Phillies Television Network.
You're watching UPN 57 WPSG TV in Philadelphia.
Fastball high, 2-2. 90th birthday wishes to Lucy Farrell of Mayfair, Philadelphia. Wishes from her family and from us to Lucy Farrell. Bobby Abreu has a long run, and he's there and makes the catch in foul ground. Nice play, Bobby Abreu. That will retire the Twins here in the second. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the second. It's a 0-0 game. Burrow leads off for the Phils. Burrow hitting at .293. 17 homers. He has knocked in 48. What a 0 to Burrow. 87th birthday wishes to Bill Ward in Lansdowne, Pennsylvania. Bill, who saw the 1950 World Series, the Phillies and the New York Yankees, which is from Jim and Sherry and from us to Bill Ward. In Lansdowne, celebrating an 87th. Put him on the count to Burrow. His changeup had Burrow well out in front.
He missed bad with his first fastball. It comes back with a good slider and then a changeup. Slider and changeup about the same speed.
A little bit wide with a fastball. 2-2 the count to Burrow. Ball shortstop, Guzman. Wide throw, Burrow out at first base. Bruce Fleming ruling that Minkevich held the bag, and Tony Scott arguing a little bit. Larry Poe is going to come out. If he did hold the bag, it was a miraculous play by Minkevich on the wide throw by Guzman.
Bruce Fleming not really in a position to see that he's off the bag because he's standing right down the line.
Oh, he dropped the ball.
Did he drop the ball?
Yes, he dropped the ball. He held the bag initially, but then he dropped the ball. Watch the ball pop out of his head. Bruce missed that play.
Maybe Bruce is saying that he caught the ball with his foot on the bag, and then when his glove hit the ground, he dropped it. But I mean, you have to have control of it also.
So they got a break there. 1 out. Here is Scott Rowland. Back in the lineup after a few days off with that swollen ankle, hitting at .237. On strike to Rowland. Changeup is high, 1-1. Chopped foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rowland. Has added 2 more runs. They now lead the White Sox 6-0. Wow. In the 4th inning behind Jason Marquis. It's a warm one here at Veterans Stadium this afternoon. Ball and 2 strikes to Scott Rowland. Trips the foul, still 1-2. Souvenir for that young man. Pops him up, foul, might be playable. Leroy off with the mask, overruns it. So Rowland still has life. They can score that either a no play or an error on Leroy.
he turns around. He's trying to fight that sun a little bit, but you got to know as a catcher that ball when it goes up is going to come back towards the plate. He got under it, but didn't really plan for the ball coming back towards the field.
But Bentley scored it, no play. 1-2 the count to Scott Rowland. Two balls and 2 strikes. That's a foul out of play. Still 2-2 to Rowland with 1 out, no base runners.
It's only the second game that LeCroy has caught this year.
He spent most of the year at Edmonton when he was tearing them up. LeCroy they got as a sandwich pick in '97 for the loss of Travis Lee when they couldn't sign Travis Lee. Not signed Travis Lee, and Travis went to Arizona after being selected the top pick in the draft. LeCroy was one of the compensation players they got for the loss of Travis. Rowland goes down swinging. That's the second strikeout for Santana. Well, the Phil's next home stand brings the time of Mets and the Expos. The Mets are in Monday and Tuesday, the first and second, 7:05. Wednesdays at 7:05, and after the game on Wednesday, July 3rd, the aerial fireworks show, compliments of Citizens Bank. Montreal in on the 4th of July at 3:05. Friday, fireworks after the game against the Expos. Saturday, 7:05. Sunday at 1:35. Acme Oriole Phillies team card pack. Order your tickets 215-463-1000 or online at Phillies.com. Travis Lee bounces the ball to second base. Luis Rivas takes care of Lee. A 1-2-3 inning again for Santana. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. At the end of 2, Phil's nothing, Twins nothing. Now, Stump the Fans trivia question to play. Log on to Phillies.com. If you're the first to correctly answer, you win 2 tickets to an upcoming game. Please submit your answer in the subject area. You must leave your name and address to receive your prize. The Dodge Stump the Fans trivia quiz today. The Yankees have won the most World Series in the past 15 years. 4 of them. What 2 teams are tied for second? The answer and winner will be revealed in the 7th inning. Speaking of the Yankees, former Yankees broadcaster, former National League president, former player with the Cardinals, the Phillies, and the Giants, William Dakota White has joined us. Bill, how you
former co-broadcaster with the latest Hall of Famer, Harry Chappell.
Yes, we did some Big 5 games together.
Right. Yes, we had fun, Harry. You really helped me.
You carried me, pal. 1-2 here to Johan Santana. Inside. You were signed originally by the San Francisco Giants.
In New York. They were in New York then. While I was in the Army, they went to San Francisco, and Orlando Cepeda came along. They didn't need me long.
Well, you had this, I recall, Santana, the pitcher, gets one just fair. Burrow plays it off the fence and will hold it to a single. But first major league hit for Johan Santana. And the 4th hit given up by Randy Wolf. Yeah, when you were signed with the Giants, I mean, they not only had Orlando Cepeda, didn't they have Willie Kirkland at the
Willie McCovey.
Willie McCovey and Willie Kirkland. So
I was 3rd down on the list.
A great first baseman.
But, I really wanted to come in and congratulate you on a great career as a broadcaster and finally culminating by the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. You were the National League president when the late, great Bart Giamatti was the commissioner of baseball, and it was quite a loss that baseball suffered when Bart passed.
I think much of the problem we have now would have been alleviated had Bart.
Yeah, I agree with you. Guzman pops it up, and it's gives it a chase, but no chance. Lands on the dugout. 1-1 to count. Of course, for many years you were doing the Yankees games with that scooter, Phil Rizzuto.
Yeah, Rizzuto, we worked 18 years there. So longer than I've worked anywhere. And I never liked the American League, never liked the Yankees.
It took George 18 years. It took George 18 years to realize that. I can't believe it. 1 ball and 1 strike to Guzman, who came close to hitting him 2-1.
George gave me a great recommendation to get out and move over.
2 balls and a strike here to Guzman. Santana at first base. Guzman pops another foul. What are your recollections of your playing days here in Philadelphia?
They were great. I was just talking to Dave Montgomery, and I mentioned Dave when they sent me here. I didn't want to play here. We were at the old stadium over there, and they gave me a locker right over a French drain. Oh, but I really love. I'm still here. Like that's 34 years ago.
Oh, they almost hit him before. Oh, Guzman, come on. It's like Wolf's trying to hit you. What kind of reaction is that? He wants to put runners at first and second with nobody out. Can't believe Guzman's reaction to it. It's a little bit absurd.
The game has changed.
Oh, yes, man. Gee. Well, you were there with Gibson, were you not?
Sir, with Gibson and Drysdale and Stan Williams.
Well, Guzman's reaction is a total overreaction. The only question is now with his pitcher, since he reacted this way, Santana feel like he has to retaliate.
I think it's important you protect your players, but there also comes a point where you have to think about intent. And what's he doing there? He's not trying to hit him. He's trying to pitch inside. He threw a pitch inside earlier. It was close, but it hits him in the cheeks. It's not up at his head. But, I mean, Bill, you play, when pitches were at your head.
Well, yeah.
And that was part of the game.
They sent a nice message.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they didn't throw behind you. They just wanted to back you off.
Right.
You got out of the way.
That's one thing I from watching it when I was younger and seeing it today and playing it. Players today, they just turn and let it hit them. Back then, you got out of the way. You run
Better
back.
get out of the way.
Yeah.
Yes. And you also knew when you were going to get hit. With no outs, nobody's going to throw at you with a man at first base.
1 ball and no strikes to Minkevich, who singled his first time up. 1-1 to count to cut Minkevich.
This booth has had a lot of Hall of Famers.
Yes. Byron Sound.
Richie.
Swideness, I played many years for the St. Louis Cardinals, and we were all saddened by the passing of Jack Buck, who was one of the all-time great announcers in baseball. Jack was working there when you were playing there, or was it Harry Carey?
Both were working there when I played there, and Harry got me started in broadcasting, and Jack taught me how to broadcast.
Jack was certainly great with young broadcasters. Your best year offensively came at St. Louis, hit 324.
Was that 64, 63?
It was 62.
Close enough. You got the second right. Like close enough. Somewhere back there.
Cavage goes down, swinging, third strikeout.
A high fastball. Randy Wolf just goes up the ladder on Minkevich.
It's 1 down, and that'll bring up Dustin Moore. He grounded into a double play his first time up. Twins lineup without 2 of their key players here this afternoon. Jack Jones is sitting this one out. This is Torrey Hunter. 1 strike, 2 more. There they are. Getting the day off.
They're in first place, aren't they, Harry?
They are in first place by 5 games, Bill. Strong-looking team. They've got some good young players. bullpen's been pitching very well, and I think they'll be right there at the end with a chance for postseason play.
Got to get some people in the stands. They are no longer going to be contracted, are they?
No.
They are. Okay. How do you like that word, Larry?
I like that. That was a good one.
One ball and one strike to Dustin Moore. Changeup.
It's a good young team, and I think the more you go out and win, the more obviously the better chance you have of putting people back in the seats. I remember I grew up in Seattle, and they used to say for the longest time that Seattle couldn't support a baseball team. Well, back when I was there in 81, 82, we were so bad you didn't expect that nobody should come out and watch us. But I mean, they put some teams out there, they started winning, now they sell out all the time. It's a big difference.
In Minnesota, they said they'd never go watch a game in an enclosed stadium. They said the same thing.
Right.
Well, Minnesota's going to try desperately, Bill, to get a stadium built, an outdoor park.
That's a story, Harry. I played with the Giants in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and they were building that new stadium in Bloomington. And we'd play a half inning, and they would weld seats in. Then we'd play another half inning, they'd weld more seats in. Yeah, during the ball games.
Wow.
I was in the minor leagues then.
Struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts of McCage and Moore, so that's 2 outs. Randy Wolf, and will bring up Matthew Lecroy.
A little more work for that Wolfpack. They got some new recruits in there, too. Good fastball there by Randy Wolf, outside corner at the knees.
Lecroy singled his first time up. 1-0.
What was your last year in St. Louis?
1967, I went back. Big Johan wanted me to manage down in Tulsa, and then perhaps come up and take the job in St. Louis. But I really never wanted to do anything where my job depended on 25
right.
feet.
Never wanted to manage, huh?
No.
I think that's managing today has got to be one of the toughest things in the world to do.
As you know, Bill, the game's easy up here.
Oh, yeah, a lot easier up here than down
Not
there.
quite so easy down there. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's what I found out. The longer I'm up here, the better I was.
Yeah. You'll find out that's actually the case. I mean, people are going to think that. You know? Hey, that's Larry Anderson. He broadcast for the Phillies.
Nice. Yeah. That's why you bring a glove to the game. This man, he's all over this foul ball. Nice job.
Souvenir. Down and in, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Remember growing up, I played box baseball, and we had league. We had a league. We had teams. We did box scores, not out of the paper. We had our own game and kept track. And my favorite team was the St. Louis Cardinals. It really was.
He'll bounce it right back to Randy Wolf, and he will tag Lecroy in the base path. So Wolf gets out of the jam. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Twins nothing, Phillies nothing. Bill White, former National League president, former Major League player, former broadcaster for the Yankees, has joined us here at Veterans Stadium. And I wasn't aware, Bill, this is the first I found out that my colleague L.A. was a big Cardinal fan. I mean, here he is from the Pacific Northwest, and he was pulling for those Cardinals. I guess you guys must have been winning a lot in those years because he basically is a front runner.
Yeah. They were winning a lot.
Well, you know, also that for a long time, St. Louis was the most Western team. And that's the only games that they got probably out on the West Coast. Harry Carey.
Yeah, they had that Julian Javier.
Second base, they had Dow Maxfield at short, Ken Boyer at third, Brock, Flood.
The guy that Julian Javier always hated to face was Hoey Hay.
Joey J.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
I thought you were talking back from your Hawaii days trying to say aloha.
Tomas Perez beats a foul. No balls and 2 strikes.
You know, Harry and I had a lot of fun doing those big 5 games.
Oh, I bet. When did you do that? When was that?
Back
That would have been in the,
early, late 60s.
No, probably mid-70s, early 70s. Yeah, I first came here in 71, so it would have been. Tomas Perez goes down swinging. Why don't you grab a bat, Bill? Boy, these Phillies bats have been silent of late.
Well, that's all. That'll turn around. Sometimes you try to do too much, I guess.
Here's Todd Pratt hitting at .391.
It's tough, too, Harry, when you're facing pitchers you've never seen before. In this instance.
You never like to face a guy that you've not seen.
Not at all. I like to give it a poke.
That's why I've always felt like. To me, it's hard to change leagues.
Yes.
Going from, if you've been a long-time American leaguer to go to the National League or vice versa, long-time National League go to the American League, I think it would be difficult.
What's your thoughts on the DH, American League brand of baseball versus National League? I hate the American League.
Well, I hate the DH. I
put it that way.
It's just not baseball.
Pratt gives it a pretty good ride to deep left center field. One hopping off the fence, and Pratt will get a double on it. So the Phillies first, it's amazing. Todd Pratt was brought here to be a steady influence, a veteran catcher to handle some young pitchers, and meanwhile he's hitting close to 400. He's been swinging
Tony Taylor. I've roomed with quite a few people. Dick Allen.
I remember we talking about pitchers at Drysdale, Gibson, guys that had knocked you down. Bill Robertson told me a story. How true it is, I don't know. But he said Willie Mays came up to the plate. Drysdale was pitching. He said he started digging in deep, digging a little hole in there, and gets set and then looks out at the mound. He said Drysdale's just glaring at him. He called timeout, stepped out of the box, got down, squatted down, and filled the hole back up.
That probably happened.
3-2 the count to Randy Wolf.
What happened with Willie, though? They'd knock him down and they'd hang a curveball.
Yeah.
And then, you know, up in the seat someplace.
If you're going to knock, that's a great point. If you're going to knock somebody down, you don't want to be throwing a cookie up their next pitch.
No.
Wolf goes down swinging. That'll be the 3rd strikeout for Santana, and it'll bring up Jimmy Rollins.
Like Randy
probably chase ball 4
yep.
here. Yep, that's high.
I don't know. They're calling that a high strike now, aren't they? Or are they?
Not that high.
Not that high?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, that's
rarely anything over the belt are they calling.
Well, that's the way it was before.
Yeah.
But that's the inconsistency of that has been, you know, some umpires when they first brought it in, they called it, some didn't, and you know, some of the veteran umpires basically I think said, I'm not changing my zone. This is what I've always done, and I think, you know, as a hitter or, you know, as a pitcher myself, the one thing you need is consistency.
Right.
You like to know what is a strike and what's a ball from both sides.
Jimmy Rollins bobbing head dowels today, and some fans out in left field in the upper deck are really asking a bit much of Jimmy.
Yeah.
Got a sign out there, hit it to us, J-Roll, and the sign's way up in the 700 level. I mean, there it is. Yeah, right. What J-Roll wants to do is just get a hit here and haul an 0 for 19 skid.
Yeah, you see that sign out there on top of the screen. That's
Big Mac can't even hit him that far. 1 ball and 1 strike. A little bit high. 2 balls and a strike.
Todd Pratt doing a good job at second base, getting a good secondary lead. He knows he doesn't have great speed, and he's getting a good secondary lead off with the pitch that may give Vukovic a chance to score him on a base hit.
Not paying much attention to Pratt. Ground ball. Ooh, gobbled up by Guzman. Throws out Jimmy Rollins. And that'll be it for the Phils in the third. Bill White, thanks so much for stopping by. Great to see you.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Larry. And congratulations again. Great honor. Great broadcaster.
Appreciate it. After 3, it's a 0-0 game. Chris Wheeler will be joining Larry Anderson in the 4th.
And there is Brandon Duckworth, who pitched so well here the other night. Nice talk with him before the game. And he said they had a plan, Andy, with all those left-handed hitters in there to throw that fastball at them and bring it back over the plate, see what happened. He said Todd Pratt kept making him throw it, and it really worked out.
Certainly worked. Well, you got to be able to put it where you want, and he was able to do that.
Yeah, it was, as you say so many times, though, in this business, it's nice if you have a plan.
Exactly.
When you go out there, and that's what they did. Nice delivery here from Rita's Water Ice on a beautiful day at Veterans Stadium. As we have some of that in here. That ball is hit a long way to center, and Glanville watches it go into the seats. Corey Koski, that ball just kept going and going and going. He thought he had it for a while, and it turns into a center field home run for Koski, his 7th of the year, and it's 1-0 Twins.
That got carried out. That was a fly ball to deep center. Might have been to the track, but that was not a home run to center field into the seats without the. I mean,
no, they
that
don't
ball
go
went in the seats.
Yeah, they don't go in the seats here very often. I'm telling you, he thinks he had that a couple times. Wow. You saw the way he went after it. And Doug Glanville usually gives you a pretty good idea if a ball's going to stay in the ballpark. And that had to shock him, too. Swing and a miss by Kelty, the center fielder today. He has a base hit his first time up. So the first run of the game is a center field home run by Corey Koski. And there he is. And that is only the second left-handed home run, or second home run that Randy Wolf's thrown to a left-handed batter this year. Down the line, and it is foul and out of play. And he'd only thrown 2 home runs in 39 1/3 innings coming into this game. So the long ball has he's really been getting hurt by the long ball, and that ball hit by Koski was one of those summertime, daytime homers. As that really carried. Minkiewicz talking to Koski there, saying, "Did you get all that?" Up high. That was a leadoff home run, so nobody out here in the 4th inning.
That's a big difference from last year. Randy Wolf, left-handers. He led all left-handed pitching in opponents' average against left-handed hitters of 171. These two left-handers in the lineup today are 2 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, but one of them a home run.
He was 271 coming into this game against left-handed hitters. Basically a 100-point difference.
Yep.
Good pitch on the inside corner. I mean, they've done a good job today, both of them, Pratt and Wolf, of moving the ball around and changing speeds. Phillies team card pack will be on Sunday, July the 7th, 1:35. Phillies in Montreal celebrate the end of the July 4th holiday with a Phillies game. Fans 14 and under will receive a free Phillies card pack, compliments of Acme and Oreo. Great way to spend a day with family and friends right here at the Vet. 215-463-1000. Anytime online, Phillies.com. That's Sunday, July the 7th, 1:35. Phillies in Montreal.
I actually said 2 for 4. You count the pitchers, 3 for 5.
3 for 5.
Left-handers.
Yeah. That's right. The pitcher, Santana, hit that chalk line shot down the left field line for his first major league hit. Buchanan hits one way up in the air. Who wants it? Who sees it? Roland does. Scott comes down the line in foul territory. 2 outs. That was a big league pop-up.
Now you see Randy Wolf did a good job there. It was right in between Pratt and Roland, probably closer to Pratt, but Wolfie comes in there and directs traffic, and he starts hollering. He looks down, sees Pratt, sees Roland, and then calls Roland's name, so he knows he's in the clear and able to just stand there and make the catch.
We used to always say comfortably it's a tough play for a catcher because they don't wear sunglasses, but a lot of them do now. Because you used to have to wear baseball sunglasses, and the catcher couldn't do that, but now they wear the regular glasses. Pratt doesn't, and you could tell when he turned around and looked up, he couldn't find it. Scott Rowland has
Nor did
sunglasses.
he want to.
Nor did he want to. Right. It's a much easier play for a fielder. There's Todd.
Don't some of the new masks have the sunglasses built in? Those
they have a visor.
Black visor.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that used to be something for a catcher. I mean, you never saw a catcher flip off a mask and have sunglasses, but now some of them catch with them. There are those styling type of sunglasses made by different companies. A lot of them wear the Oakleys. That was Kierzinski, not playing today. He's a catcher. 2 balls and 1 strike to Rivas. He could just look on today on a smoking hot afternoon, happy he's not out there. Changeup off the end of the bat to Tomas Perez. And after the home run, Randy Wolf puts him down in order. 1 run on the home run to center by Corey Koski, a hit. No errors and nobody left. It's 1-0 Twins. Followed by Bobby Abreu and Pat Burrell facing Johan Santana. Trying to stay cool on this steamy afternoon in South Philadelphia. First really hot day that we've had here this year. Doesn't look like the guy was really dressed for the elements. Like a very thick jersey down there. Doug Glanville grounded out his first time up, fouls away. A lot of sliders from Santana, and that was a report that if you're going to have any chance against this guy, do not chase the breaking ball. And it's hard to keep it fair a lot of times, especially for the right-handed batters.
Good slider, good changeup. That makes his fastball seem that much harder.
That ball smokes the home plate umpire Kevin Kelly. He shakes it off. 1-2. Santana is from Venezuela. Tovar Merida in Venezuela. And used to be a reliever, now a starter. There's the foul off the mask of the home plate umpire. And there he does. He chases it slider and strikes out. He has a good down and in biter. You saw Doug swing over it. It's time now for today's Citizens Bank Not Your Typical Fan. Each game will scan the crowd to find a fan or fans who set themselves apart from the rest.
Mesa's faces back in the crowd. Might not see Mesa today, though.
I don't think they'll see their boy today after he pitched 2 innings here last night. Larry Boa, well, he doesn't worry.
1 inning the night before.
Yeah, he has an idea where he's going to go late in this game today if it's close, but he said, we'll wait till we get there to see what I can do, because his bullpen's been overused the last couple days with that long game last night. A bunch of extra inning games lately. A few of them. Phillies just don't score any runs, so they've been in all these tight games fouled away by Bobby Abreu. It's been a really disappointing homestand because the pitching's been so good and the offense has been erratic. And it's not going to get any easier starting in Florida tomorrow night when you face that staff. Up high. 1-2 to Bobby, who fly to center his first time up. Phillies have 1 hit in the game, a 1-out double by Todd Pratt. There's Terry Adams, who did his job last night, kept it close. There's that slider, misses away. It's 2-2. Another one and miss with it. 3-2. Ooh, the scouting report on him by Hank King was right on the nose. There's Burrell. He will use that slider as his out pitch, and he uses it a lot. Fastball, he walked him. Bobby Abreu up among the league leaders in walks. Draws a 1-out base on balls. Only the second base runner for the Phillies. BPS number 4 coming up Thursday, July the 18th at 1:05. The Phillies and the Cubs. It's the 4th of 5 midweek, midday Fun in the Sun Citizens Bank Business Person Specials. Thursday, July the 18th, 1:05. Phillies and the Cubs. 215-463-1000. Anytime, real time online at Phillies.com. You're a Sammy Sosa fan. Only 2 visits by the Chicago Cubs to the vet this year. And that, of course, one of them. Pat Burrell battling at 0-for-12 right now. Grounded to short, and it looked like the ball might have come out of the first baseman's glove, Minkevich, when he hit the ground, but he was called out anyway. Bounces up there. Bobby Abreu having a lot of trouble with Santana. He's getting a one-way lead headed back to first when the left-hander delivers to Burrell. The count 2-0.
Santana, 61 pitches, but a lot of balls in that 61 pitches. Not a good ratio at all.
Started right out 3-0 on Jimmy Rollins and then got him out.
But the Phillies, with only 1 walk and 1 base runner on Pratt's double. Abreu's walk right here, only the second base runner they've had.
Well, not only haven't they hit, but I mean they're just not doing a very good job with on base percentage, even walking. Other than maybe a Giambi or Burrell once in a while. Good pitch by Santana. Painted the inside corner, 2-1. Nothing Burrell could have done with that except jam himself on a slider.
Or crush somebody down the third base line in the seats.
Yeah. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Burrell. With Roland waiting on deck. Scott back in the lineup today. A little lob toss to first. Santana hasn't shown him much of a move over there with Abreu on, but is fooling him with his leg kick to the plate.
Bobby's got a big lead over there, 1 foot on the carpet.
He's trying to read it. Catcher LeCroy doesn't catch a whole lot, so I think they can run on it. And over to first again.
Unless I mean, that move was a little better than the first one, but neither of them very good moves. But if it looks the same as when he's going to the plate, then it's effective because the base runner has to hold.
There it is again. He bounces one over there. So they all of a sudden think that he's going to run. Maybe 2-1 thinking hit and run. But, you know, hit and run doesn't have anything to do with your lead.
And probably not getting a hit and run with Burrell and also with 1 out.
Right.
You don't see a lot of hitting and running with 1 out. Base stealers 2 for 2. He hasn't picked off anybody. That's basically not a lot of attempts. Of course, only 3 games.
Changeup. Breaking ball on the outside corner, and he's even in the count 2-2. Pretty good changeup.
Yeah, pretty good arm action on that changeup.
Man, that'll lock you. A 2-1 changeup. LeCroy takes a look in the dugout. They may be trying to help him out by throwing over there, and those signs coming from the dugout to throw over to first. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Burrell hits another wicked foul.
Same guy.
My friend Tom Yuka caught that again. That's Dr. Tom Yuka down there, and he's an old dreamweaker, an orthopedic surgeon from Harrisburg, and he caught 2 of them today. About that. He was down there with a group of doctors a few years ago. And it bounces up there 3-2 with only 1 out. So we'll see if the runner Abreu goes from first. There's Scott Rowland on deck.
I think I'd take my chances having him run. Try and make something happen.
He goes, and Burrell hits it foul. I mean, Bobby Abreu was absolutely frozen at first base there, because the one thing you can't do is get picked off, and this is just a running situation when the pitch is delivered. And look how long he waits.
Well, that's all you're doing. I mean, it's basically a hit and run, as we commonly call it, is really a run and hit. In this situation, it's a hit and run. If you wait for the pitch, or it's a pitch and run, you wait for him to throw the ball before you go.
And back-to-back walks. Put 2 on with 1 out for Scott Rowland, who struck out on a high breaking ball his first time up. Scott back in the lineup after being out for a few days with a sore ankle. Trying to get the Phillies at least even here. Maybe a base hit. Score Bobby Abreu from second. Phillies with just 1 hit in the game, but 2 base runners now on walks. Fastball 0-1. Base hit up the middle. Abreu being waved around. Kelly's throw is cut off. Now they throw behind Burrell, and he's in trouble. And Rowland will get to second, and Burrell's going to be tagged out. A base running mistake there by Pat Burrell. But Scott Rowland with good base running gets into scoring position. The game is tied at 1-1, but now there are 2 outs.
Once you see that ball is not high, is not over your head, you can't get around too far around that bag, or they will do just what happened right there. Kelty throws behind him, and Burrell just stuck in no man's land. Even with the bobble, they were going to get Burrell at third, so he gets in the rundown. At least after making a mistake, he gets in the rundown and allows Scott to get into scoring position. And Travis Lee, the batters. The game is now tied at 1. And down low, Scott Rowland knocks in his 40th of the year, and that RBI single to center. So the 2 walks cost Santana at least 1 run. Phillies trying to take the lead and get Rowland back in from second. And Lee takes a breaking ball. He grounded the second his first time up. Strike 1, 1-1. Well, part of that base running mistake might have something to do with the fact that a lot of these guys haven't been on base in a while.
Oh, the unfamiliarity of it, huh? Well, as we talked about, Andy, though, at least they did turn a mistake into a sort of a positive by staying in the rundown long enough, and Scott Rowland seeing that to make sure he got to second base. So at least they could replace Burrell there. But now with 2 outs. 2-1 to Travis. 3-1. The on-deck batter is Tomas Perez, playing second base today. There he is. And batting in the 7 hole. There's Marlin. Not playing today with a left-hander, Santana, on the mound. Tavares tomorrow night in Florida, so he'll be back in the lineup. Tavares a right-hander. Lee swinging a foul tip. 3 balls and 2 strikes out onto by the catcher.
A lot of pitches this inning for Santana. 25 of them. 75 total pitches to this point.
3 balls and 2 strikes now to Lee. Pop up. Third base side. Lee Croy. And oh my. Boy, they don't get to that ball. Koski couldn't get there. It's more the catcher's play, and he's an inexperienced catcher, is Matt Lecroy. He's basically in there for his offense today, and he couldn't get to it or didn't see it, and the Phillies get another huge break.
Well, you see him run over there, and the first thing he does is looks over at Koski to see if he has it. Koski's looking at him. Koski couldn't get there, I guess.
Well, Koski's back, Andy, with 2 outs and a left-handed batter. He's playing way over. Now that was really, and it wasn't hit all that high. I mean, if anybody could get to it, it had to be the catcher. So that's the second ball that's dropped like that today.
You miss one like you did the first time right behind the plate, and you're probably a little tentative to go after anything else.
Yeah, you hope you get called off. 3-2. And he lost him. So they don't score an error on the play, of course. They just score no play, but the Phillies get a huge break, and the inning remains alive for Tomas, who struck out his first time up. Rolling at second, Lee at first, 2 away. We're in the bottom of the fourth, tied at 1. As Scott Rowland's knocked in the tying run in this inning. And Tomas, a little humpback liner right at the first baseman, Minkiewicz. And that'll end the inning. Phillies get a run in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We're through 4, tied at 1. 1, Phillies 1. We go to the top of the 5th. A great pleasure to introduce actor, producer, director, and big baseball fan, Rob Reiner.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Good. Nice to see you. Good
nice to be here.
To have you in Philadelphia finally.
It's great to be in Philadelphia. It's great to be at the ballpark, wherever.
There's the pitcher, Santana. It's a big high pop-up left side. Jimmy Rollins waits and a little snow cone.
A little ice cream cone on that one.
Now, when you were going to come in here today, they asked me, does he know anything about baseball? I said, are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, I know a little bit about it.
Oh, you've been a little amateur manager throughout your career.
Yeah, no, every year I take my son and his friends on a baseball tour. Every summer we hit 3 or 4 parks, and this year we went to Pittsburgh and then Cincinnati and then here, and then we're going on to Cooperstown after this. So it's great. I have a lot of fun, and it's a great way to introduce my son and his friends to all these different parks around the league.
How old's your son now?
He's 11. He's 11. His team won his Little League team won West LA Little League.
Really? Yeah.
Great.
So they'll go on the All-Stars going on, or the Little League going on to the state and all that, the district, state.
Let's worry about Guzman here.
Yeah, Guzman got hit by a pitch last time, and
see what happens.
Yeah, what was he complaining about?
Thank you. Who knows? Chirping away.
I think that's when you come right back inside again.
Yeah, and it's not like Wolf wanted to put him on. He had a man, he didn't want first and second, nobody out.
With the heart of the lineup coming up. 1 ball and 1 strike, a swing and a miss, and a changeup, 1 and 2. So I know you want to talk some baseball. I always enjoy that with you. But let me ask you about projects. I mean, we always enjoy your work so much. You have anything coming up?
I'm going to start directing a film this fall called, it's a romantic comedy. We'll wait on this pitch.
It's all right. We're on TV. You can talk.
That's all right. You know. Listen, people are interested in baseball.
I know, but they like you too.
I know. It's a romantic comedy called Loosely Based on a True Love Story. And it's with Kate Hudson and Luke Wilson. There you go.
Has a little back action. Shortstop to shortstop. 2 out. Jimmy's day. Bob and head dial day for Jimmy Rollins. 2 away.
A nice play by Jimmy Rollins. The ball's hit hard. It flies. It scoots on this turf, but he goes down to his knees, pops right up. You can do that on this turf very easily. Jimmy's excellent at doing that, and they get him by a half a step.
I can tell you a story about Rob Reiner, Andy. I was lucky enough to spend a night, have dinner at his house one night, and I wanted to talk about Stand By Me, which had just come out, the movie, which was so fabulous. Right. And all he wanted to talk about was baseball.
That's right. That's right. I got a great story, and I'll tell you right after this pitch. 2 years ago, I'm going to a ball game with my son at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers are playing the Phillies. On the way to the ballpark, I asked my son, you think we'll catch a foul ball today? He says, yes, I do. I says, who's going to hit it? He says, Mike Lieberthal. I said, okay, Mike Lieberthal. We're about the 5th inning. Mike Lieberthal comes up, pops a ball over the fence. I reach out with my left hand, grab it, and hand it to him. Now, what are the odds of that? What are the odds? First of all, catch a ball.
Really?
There's Lieberthal's little fan group.
Yeah.
And we met him before the game, and he signed a ball for my son.
Great.
Yeah.
And he grew up a Dodger fan, just like Randy Wolf did, Rob. He went to Pepperdine.
Right.
He's an LA kid.
Both from LA, yeah.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Minkiewicz, who's 1 for 2 in the game.
You got to come out in a couple of years and see the Phillies' new ballpark.
Well, that's why we're catching this park and why we caught Synergy Field, because the Reds are going to have a new ballpark next year, so we wanted to catch these parks before they're gone.
Up high.
Like Pittsburgh's park.
Pittsburgh has a beautiful park. That PNC Park's one of my favorite. That and Pac Bell are probably my 2 favorite parks.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Let's pause for station identification. The Phillies Television Network.
You're watching UPN 57 WPSG TV in Philadelphia.
A whole bunch of these new parks that are all kind of retro I think the same architect. Started with Camden Yards and Jacobs Field and Safeco and Pac Bell and Coors and now PNC. They're beautiful, beautiful parks, inner city parks with the exposed steel girders and the brick. They're all trying to make believe they're Wrigley Field.
Well, you know,
that's my favorite.
Yeah, it's a great park. Yeah.
One time the Phillies had Connie Mack Stadium, everybody wanted to get out of it and come down here, and now they want to get out of this and go to an old park again.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, and that's why this new one's going up out there outside this ballpark. Fly ball to center field by Minkavage. Looks like Randy Wolf's going to have a 1-2-3 inning. He does. Rob's going to stay with us another half inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We're tied at 1.
It's writing. There's a great speech that Kevin Costner gives to Susan Sarandon, and that we're all about, I think it's about kissing, and it's about his love of the game and love of baseball. It's a brilliant speech. Ron Shelton, who wrote and directed it, did a terrific job.
I got to ask you, have you seen a Shee pitch?
Yes, I have.
How'd you like
number of times. Yeah,
I haven't seen him.
He's terrific. I mean, he's not overpowering. His fastball, probably runs a 90, 91 or so, but he's got a really nasty curveball, and he can throw that curveball for strikes with whatever the count.
Really?
And that's what does it for him. He's worked out of a few jams early on the season. He'll we'll walk a couple of extra batters, but he works out of jams, and he's really impressive.
Wow.
Really impressive.
How about Gagne? How good's he been?
Well, Gagne is ridiculous.
Whew.
It's interesting. Last couple of seasons, Gagne was a starter for the Dodgers, and I thought, well, he comes in, he pitches 3 or 4 innings, and then he falls apart. And I thought, boy, this guy'd make a great reliever. I always thought that, and then when they turned him into a closer this year, I thought, you're going to see, because he can come in and throw, 97, 98 miles an hour, and throws a really nasty curveball. And for an inning or two, he's really unhittable.
He's the best closer in the league this year by far.
I think more teams think about that if they have young pitching that do well for 4 or 5 innings. I mean, I think a lot of teams, they don't hesitate to putting those guys in that closer role. First of all, you got to see if they can handle it mentally, but if they can, it's a great spot for them.
Yeah, Gagne at the beginning of the season didn't know if he wanted to do it. He didn't, but now he's like, it fits him like a glove.
And the Dodgers are really playing well, and that's one of the reasons why. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. Pratt, there's a guy who pitched for the Dodgers last year, Terry Adams, started for them. Yep. Has done a good job for the Phillies this year. They don't score many runs for him.
Did a good job for the Cubs, too.
Came over here as a free agent. 3-2 on Pratt, who doubled off the wall his first time up. The on-deck batter, Randy Wolf. We're tied at 1. Chris Wheeler, Larry Anderson, our special guest. Rob Reiner with us here in the 5th inning. You still have the season ticket. I remember seeing you and your dad used to sit right underneath of us.
Every year. We've been coming to the park is now 40 years old. We've been coming for 40 years.
Wow. Because you had them right in that load section right below our broadcast.
Yeah, my dad did a movie years ago called It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Oh, yeah.
And they had all these celebrities, all these comedians in it, and rather than pay them salaries, they gave them presents. And they gave my father season tickets to the Dodgers, and he's had them ever since 1962.
Your dad, I mean, it's amazing. You still see him popping up in movies.
Yeah, no, he was in Ocean's 11. He did a great job.
He was
really funny.
That was good.
Yeah,
I
really
just
funny.
watched that the other day.
Yeah, he was hysterical on that. Of course, your mom's been in movies too.
Yeah, no, my mom is.
Randy Wolf puts down a great bunt here, and he'll move Todd Pratt to second. Sack 1-3 on the play, and 1 out, and Pratt moves into scoring position.
And not always easy, especially on turf when it's this hot, to move a base runner like Pratt, who doesn't run well.
Now, how does this turf compare to grass in terms of bunting? I mean, does it hold the ball?
It stays fair. It stays true down the lines. It's more spongy than the turfs they used to have at a lot of the stadiums. This has a little more spring to it, but the balls down the line stay real true.
Right. This is the second year of the new turf, Rob, that they put in, and the players like it a lot more than the other stuff. It's spongier. Jimmy Rollins takes it low. I got to follow up. You know how that feeling is if you leave something hanging. I mentioned your mom was in a movie.
Yes, my mom is also. She's 88 years old now, and she still sings in cabarets.
Wow.
She goes on, and she's a jazz singer. And once a month in Los Angeles, she gets up on the stage and sings.
And had that fabulous scene in When Harry Met Sally.
Yes, she had the funniest line in any movie I've ever done. Just, I'll have what she's having.
Fouled away.
She came to the set that day, and I told her, Mom, we got a funny scene here. I don't know this line you have, if it doesn't top the scene and really do it. He said, I might have to cut it. She says, it's okay. I just want to spend the day with you. I don't care if I do. But it's the funniest line in the movie.
It's a scene stealer. 1-1 now on Jimmy, trying to knock in Todd Pratt and give the Phillies a lead. And he hits a fly ball to shallow center field. A late break by Kelty, but he's there, and there are 2 outs.
And, it's a very famous story on that scene. Meg Ryan was very tentative about wanting to do that scene. And so she did it a couple of times, and it wasn't right. So I had to actually sit down and show her how to do it. And I'm sitting there going through the scene and pounding the table and saying, yes, yes, yes. Billy said it's like having a date with Sebastian Cabot, because I'm sitting across from him. And I realized that I'm faking this orgasm in front of my mother, who's sitting there. It's a very embarrassing day for me. But Meg finally did it unbelievably well.
Yeah, she sure did. Doug Glanville, the batter. And we're going to let you go after this half inning. Thanks a lot. And we'll see you. Come out and see us. We'll be in Dodger Stadium at the beginning of August.
I will, and I'll come back out here when you get the new field in 2004.
Please be our guest when you come back here. John Brazier will take good care of you. 1 ball and no strikes to Doug Glanville. And he hits it way foul out of play down the left field line. How about Sean Green, the show he's been putting on lately?
Just awesome. Absolutely awesome. And he hits in bunches. Just in bunches.
I guess. Yeah. Twice in a row. He's hit 4 in a row.
Yes.
Not in a row, but he's hit 4.
Yeah, he hit 4 in one game, and then he hit 4 in a row over a period of 2 games.
Over 2 games. Yeah. So, that's incredible.
Yeah. No, he's awesome.
And he's an L.A. guy.
Yes. That's right. He's from Tustin High.
22 home runs, 58 RBIs.
Yeah, talk about bunching them, Andy. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Glanville. Didn't like that call.
Plus the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Just a nice person.
Probably we saw him come up as a kid with the Blue Jays because they trained right near the Phillies in Clearwater. So, we got to see him as a young player. No doubt he's going to be a star. Bounces up there, 2-2.
He is a star. I think that was the deal the Dodgers did, and of course they lost Mondesi, but I think it was a great deal for L.A.
It turned out to be.
Well, he's trying to break this 1-1 tie in this scoring problem they've had throughout the home series. A young left-hander, Johan Santana, out of Venezuela, pitching today. And they have Todd Pratt at second base with 2 outs. Final game of the homestand, final game of home interleague play for the Phils will be in Baltimore next weekend. Low, 3-2.
We've seen Santana in 3-2 counts. He's not afraid to throw his slider or his changeup in this count.
Well, with the reports on him that his slider was his out pitch and he had to not chase it, and that's what they've been doing, is chasing it. Here's a 3-2. And he didn't chase it. There's a 3-2 breaking ball, and Glanville walks. So the Phillies have 2 on with 2 outs for Abreu. Are the Dodgers going to play the Yankees?
I don't know if they're on the schedule. I'm not sure.
I was just thinking that because they've been playing the West.
They played San Diego.
Yeah, they played Arizona.
The Dodgers just playing Boston. Just played Boston.
Right. It'd be a shame if they don't play the Yankees.
Today's the 3rd game against Boston.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a natural fit for those two to play each other after all those World Series. They do not play them. They play Colorado, San Francisco, Arizona, and San Diego. So they don't play them.
And I think this is the end of interleague play.
Next weekend, they play the Mets.
Right. Yeah.
So some teams don't play straight through interleague play because the National League has to have a game.
Bobby Abreu, how long has he been hitting third? Because he used to lead off for a while, didn't he?
Just briefly. In fact, when we were in Los Angeles one time, 2 years ago, you were on the air with us in Los Angeles, and you said, I'll never forget this, you looked at his numbers and said, this guy ought to be leading off. You did say that. But
he had, at that year, I think he hit 20 homers that year, so I was wondering what kind of a leadoff hitter hits 20 homers.
Last year became the Phillies' first ever in franchise history 30-30 man.
Oh.
So he's been their 3-hole hitter because really Robbie's their best hitter. Yeah. So he hits 3 for them. But he did lead off for a little while because his on-base percentage is so good. He's up among the league leaders in walks also.
5 walks, 4 of them in the last 2 innings for Santana. Actually, all 5 in the last 2 innings for Santana.
Bobby has walked and scored the Phillies run today. fastball in the outside corner, 1-1 or 0-2.
This young umpire's done a pretty good job back there. Kevin Kelly, I have not seen him before. Pretty close right there.
Bruce Fremming returned today, the veteran. He's down at first. Crew chief. There he is. Already told one runner, get down here and shut up. Ooh, just missed outside, 1-2.
Well, a little farther out, not much more than the pitch before, but definitely off the plate.
That's a wild pitch. He just missed it and it hit the umpire in the mask.
Looked like it went off, maybe gone off of Lee Croy's glove and then off the mask of Kevin Kelly.
So that's a wild pitch. The runners will move up. And the count's even at 2-2.
He's going fastball, 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 trying to get everything away from Bobby. Lee Croy sitting outside. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't seen a slider. He's had 2 strikes on him now.
Lee Croy, we mentioned, this is only his second start of the year as a catcher. They have him out there for some offense against left-hander Randy Wolf. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 3, base open, but they don't want to face Burrell.
No, he doesn't want to walk in.
Now, you know about Pat Burrell.
Yeah, no, he can hit a GS pretty quick.
Yeah, he's a bomber. There he is. He's going to be a big-time star in this league, Rob.
He's a good-looking guy.
You put him in a movie.
Women must like this guy.
You could put him in a movie. 3-2. And he walks. Ball 4. And they are loaded for Pat Burrell.
It's surprising that Santana would go this deep into the count before throwing a slider, goes to 3-2 and then throws one. As good as his slider is, but Bobby doesn't chase. Last 2 guys, 3-2 sliders, and both have done a good job of laying off of it.
And Ron Gardenhire will go to the bullpen, and ex-Philly Tony Fiore is going to come in. So the bases are loaded with 2 outs, and Gardenhire will not let Burrell face Tony Fiore. There it is, 99 total pitches. Of course, his line is incomplete as he departs with 3 men on base. But the young left-hander who pitched a great game against the Mets his last time out will depart. 1-1 game, bases loaded, 2 outs. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Left-hander Santana just 23 out of the game now. The walks hurt him today, as he's walked 2 more in this inning. He walked 3 last inning. So he had sailed along through 3 and then trouble in the 4th, but he only gave up 1, and now he departs with the bases loaded for right-hander Tony Fiore. And Andy, you coached this guy at one time. Talk about it.
Now Tony's got good stuff with a fastball that'll sink and cut. Great movement on the fastball. His biggest problem has been commanding his pitches. He'll throw a slider, also a palm ball that he will throw a lot. He's got a very good one, but he can be erratic and throwing strikes. Kind of surprising with the bases loaded that Gardenhire would bring him in here, but he can't obviously leave Santana out there with 6 walks in the last couple innings to face Burrell. Done a very good job. 4-1 with an ERA of just over 1.
Pretty nice, Rob, when you can have your analyst have him coach the guy, huh?
Yeah. He has a good beat on this guy.
Plus, he helped teach him the changeup that he throws. Here we go. And he throws a fastball and gets ahead. Strike 1. Ask about what Pat Burrell's done with the bases loaded. Well, he has 3 grand slams and 33 RBIs with the bases loaded.
All right.
He chases one out of the strike zone there. 0-2.
I think that was his palm ball. Even with it up high, he's got great arm action. You see Burrell just looking fastball, but way out in front of it, right off the end of the bat.
The pitch looked like it went away from him.
Yeah, it's not a circle change. It's a palm ball, and he'll come down off the right side of the ball, almost like cutting a fastball. He does that with his palm ball.
What do you think he comes with 0-2 here?
I'm not sure.
Change
Ooh,
up.
change up. You got him.
Struck him out on 3 pitches. Rob, thanks a lot. It's great to see you.
Thanks so much, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Rob.
Nice to
Rob
see you.
Reiner, our very special guest today. Phillies do not score in the inning, and we're tied at 1.
Now there is Airbud chasing balls around. He's actually Chrissy Legault doing everything she can to corral the K9.
Well, she is afraid that she's getting the evil eye from the third base coach, who's not out there right now, but is in the Phillies dugout, John Vukovic. Get that dog off the field. Scott Rowland was kind of enjoying it. He's a dog person.
Yeah.
That dog was running around rolling out there. Travis having some fun. No, the Phillies waste a great opportunity there as Tony Fiore comes in and gets a strikeout and a breaking ball to Moore, Dustin Moore. The Phillies continue to struggle with the bases loaded. Even Pat Burrell, who's done so well in his career, is 0 for 6 with the bases loaded this year. And there is Fiore. That's going to untie the game on one swing of the bat. A long home run for Dustin Moore. That is Moore's 6th home run of the year, and it's 2-1 Twins. They've hit 2 solo homers today.
That so often happens. You get something going, you get some momentum, you get the bases loaded, you think you're going to get something, and you get shut down, and the other team comes out and scores a run.
Yep.
It's uncanny how often that happens.
And he has been keeping the ball in the ballpark, has Randy Wolf, but 2 of them today.
That looks like a change up there. He started him off first pitch curveball, comes back with a changeup as Moore almost missed first base.
Matthew Lecroy will bat. The catcher has singled and grounded out. Wolf got him in a big spot with a couple men on back in the 3rd inning. Are you going to be the one to tell Pat Burrell that you taught Fiore that changeup?
No.
Someone will tell him. And it was a good one. I mean, he swung and fouled one off the end of the bat and then swung through the next one. Little looper center field, and Doug Glanville comes on, makes the play, 1 out. You can learn Larry Anderson's changeup at Major League Fantasy Camp. Join guys like my partner, John Kruk, Mitch Williams, Dallas Green, Greg Luzinski, many others for the ultimate baseball trip, January 29th through February 2nd, 2003 in Clearwater. Great accommodations. 610-520-3400. Call 610-520-3400. The changeup that you threw to Ron Gant in the playoff game that you never threw, was that a palm ball?
No. I broke the old splitter out for that one.
Remember the look on Gant's face?
Well, my face when Dalton called it. Yeah, why not?
That ended a great game number 5 in Atlanta. That ball is smoked to left center. It hits off the base of the wall, and Koski, who hit a home run his last time up, doubles his 11th of the year. So the Twins have a runner in scoring position with 1 out. And Vern Rule will take a trip to the mound.
Fastball up in the zone. You can see Pratt reaching up about belt high for it. That's the difference between getting that ball elevated and it gets lofted into the air versus a ground ball.
There's Dustin Moore, who hit the home run. He had a big 2-run single last night in the 11th inning to take that game from 2-1 to 4-1. We saw him in spring training, and he can hit. Had 41 doubles in the Eastern League last year.
Good ratio for Randy Wolf after 83 pitches, throwing the ball well again.
But once
not
again,
much support.
right,
Yep.
Andy, as Larry Ball pointed out in his pregame show, he says every time my pitchers look out there, they can't make a mistake. And that's what the problem is right now, is the pitchers just don't have any margin for error. Misses away. to Bobby Kelty.
A lot of people say, well, you just go out and pitch your game. But, you know, when you know you're not scoring runs, it's tough to go out there and not think about having to be very fine.
There he goes for third. Pratt's throw, and safe with a stolen base is Corey Koski, his 6th of the year. He got a big jump off second and stole third. And he may have hurt his hand.
Pratt trying to say to Kevin Kelly, hey, Kelty was in my way. He backed right into me.
Koski's a little shook up down there at third base. He's taking a while to get back.
And Scott Rowland was not at the bag anyway. I mean, that's something, though, that you shouldn't be able to get that kind of a jump and make it that easily to third base with less than 2 outs. I mean, that's a no-no. You should not allow that to happen.
And with the Phillies' offensive problems, they have to bring the infield in. And a swing and a foul at the plate by Kelty, who singled and struck out. So Randy Wolf going for a strikeout now. He has 5. There you see them all the way up on the right side and back a little more on the left. David Coggin gets up for the Phils. Ricky Vitalico on the 15-day DL today with a strained right shoulder, and Doug Nickel recalled from Scranton Wilkes-Barre and is here in uniform and could pitch. 2-2. Got him. Struck him out. Randy Wolf with a good fastball strikes out Kelty, and now everybody can back up with 2 outs.
Huge out right here for Randy Wolf, especially after that stolen base. He just goes up the ladder. A high fastball gets him to swing right through it. Number 6 for Randy Wolf.
Brian Buchanan is 0 for 2. And Wolf steps off and takes a look at Koski at third. He is going to work from the stretch with 2 outs. Koski, the runner, breaks his bat in half, and a pop-up in the infield. Scott Rowland calls for it all the way, and a great job by Randy Wolf to get out of that inning after the double and stolen base. A leadoff home run. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 man left on base. It's 2-1 Minnesota.
It's up to fans trivia quiz this afternoon. The Yankees have won the most World Series in the past 15 years, 4 of them. What 2 teams are tied for second? The answer, the Twins and the Blue Jays. The Twins won 2 in 87 and 91, and the Jays 2 in 92 and 93. First Phillies fan with the correct response was Darren Grable of Edwardsville, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Darren. You're the winner of 2 tickets to a Phillies game. Thanks for playing. God to stump the fans. Well, we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. The Phils down by a run, 2-1.
Great job by Randy Wolf. Great job by Terry Adams last night. I mean, they're getting tremendous pitching, and right now just an offensive struggle for the ball club as Ricky Leday is going to come out and bat second in this inning for Wolf, who gave him a solid 7, 2 solo home runs. You should be able to win a ball game once in a while when you do that.
Well, yeah, and when their pitcher walked 6 in 2 innings, the Phillies really didn't make him pay. Made him pay for 1 run, and that's all.
And Randy last time, Harry walked 5. Today walks nobody. I mean, he did a terrific job here. There's Brandon Duckworth, who had a good game Friday. So the Phillies in this series against Minnesota have just pitched great, and so far they've had a split in the series and are losing this game.
Todd Pratt will lead it off. He's been on base both times. He's been up with a double and a walk, facing Tony Fiore, who came in the 5th inning for starter Johan Santana. Got Wolf out of the top half of this inning by gunning down Christian Guzman, attempting to steal.
Yeah, we'll never know, but we'll find out later. But it appeared that Larry Bowa was ready to bring in the right-hander Silva to pitch to Moore.
2 balls and no strikes to Todd Pratt.
There's Bo and Gary Varsho taking a look at the card. They have some bullpenners out there that might not be able to go today. There's LaTroy Hawkins, who came in last night. He was firing.
2-1. Yeah, you wonder about Mesa, who pitched 1 inning on Friday night and 2 innings last night.
No, Jose's out there just moving his arms around, and there's Silva throwing. Jose's out there with a towel and just stretching.
Phillies hope they could get to a save opportunity where that question would be answered in the 9th inning. 3 balls and a strike. If the Phillies are behind, then Mesa would not pitch.
No.
Full count to Pratt.
Getting a lot of fastballs as Todd Pratt. Fiore has used his changeup very effectively, as the reports on him said he would.
He can throw real hard, but it kind of gets on you quickly. He's got a quick release, kind of a funky delivery of that fastball.
Well, it's a changeup that makes it. You know, if he didn't have that changeup, I mean, obviously that fastball wouldn't cut it. I mean, it's not like it's it's decent velocity, a little bit of movement, but it's to complement it, you need that changeup, and that's what he'll throw, and he'll throw it on any pitch, so it's in the back of their mind.
Think he'll throw it here?
Might.
He did.
Yep.
That was his pound ball, and Pratt is called out on strikes.
Thinks it was high. I mean, he's been back behind the plate with this guy all day, and they've gotten along pretty well, but that ball looked like it was high. Not where he caught it, but where across the plate. Take a look. I mean, see, it has a hump in it. Now, see, that pitch went across the plate. It's high. It's even high, I think, when Prince catches it, but certainly high when across the plate. That's not a strike. And Todd Pratt threw a heck of an at-bat right there at Fiore and should have had a leadoff walk and doesn't have it.
Brings on Ricky Leday. Leday hitting at 143. As a pinch hitter, he is 4 for 24, including a pinch hit home run off Nelson Cruz of Houston. 1 ball and no strikes to Leday.
Todd Pratt really did a good job in that at bat.
Driven to deep center field, but it's going to stay in the park. Kelty puts it away. And that's 2 down. It'll bring on Jimmy Rollins. Rollins has struck out, grounded out, and flied out.
Fiore really saving their bullpen today. The starter goes early. They have a lot of late guys. And some of them have been used this weekend, and he's taking them right. If he gets Jimmy Rollins out, he takes them right up to the late man. Gets them to the 8th. Huge job for a middle reliever.
And bullpen has been good all year. The Twins, their bullpen ERA is 3.23. Tried to butt his way on. Fiore's on it. Throws out Jimmy Rollins, and it's a 1-2-3 inning here in the 7th. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. We go to the 8th inning. Minnesota 2 and the Phillies 1. Ninth inning, 2-1 Twins. Corey Koski leads off. Koski has struck out, homered, and doubled, and he takes one from Carlos Silva wide, 1-0. Slices it down the left field foul line. It's going to go out of play. 1-1. Jeremy Giambi stays in the game. Bobby Abreu moves from right to center field, and Giambi, pinch hit for Doug Glanville, stays in to play right.
It's the opposite, of course, of what Larry Ball would like to do in the late innings.
1-2 to Koski.
You want to have a lead and go to your better defense than opposed to having to put the weaker defense out there to try and hope you get a shot offensively with them out there.
Jerks the foul. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
All that guy got was sore hands.
Said he's all right.
Hit him in the shoulder. He said, I'm all right. Tell his little girl, I'm sorry, hon. I'll get the next one.
2 balls and 2 strikes. In the hole, a base hit to right field.
Count.
So Koski is the leadoff base runner. Continuing our Toyota Interleague scoreboard, Colorado behind Jason Jennings has a 5-0 lead on Tampa Bay. Todd Zeile has hit a 3-run homer in that game. Baltimore and San Francisco just underway. Jason Johnson against Livan Hernandez. Detroit and Florida just underway. Jeff Reaver against Ryan Dempster. Boston at Los Angeles. Boston obtained bullpen help. Alan Embry from the Padres for 2 minor leaguers. Toronto and Arizona will start shortly. New York Yankees at San Diego. Mike Mussina goes for his 11th, and the night game finds St. Louis at Chicago.
There we go again in damage control here, where they're trying to keep this game to 1.
Bobby Kelly has singled and struck out twice. Fouls it straight back. 1 strike to Kelty.
He's one of their switch hitters. Now turn around and bat left-handed, where he's hit 3 of his 4 homers. Big hole on the right side as they have to hold Koski on at first.
One strike. Torrey Hunter waits on deck. Just came into the game. Two balls and a strike to Kelty.
Phillies have Real Cormier up in the bullpen.
Hunter goes, but it's beaten foul.
He played hit and run, trying to get something going. What they really wanted was a pitch in that he could pull. That's what Gardenhire, the manager, of course, wanted. He didn't get it, and Kelty had to just spoil that or try and put it into play to protect the runner.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Kelty. Full count.
Good running situation now because Silva throws double play balls with a sinker. If they played hit and run with Kelty, you think they would trust him not to swing through a pitch into a double play, so they'll probably start the runner.
He does go, and it's top foul. So they'll try it again. Koski comes back to first base. 3-2 to Kelty. Twins leading 2-1. Minnesota's out hit the Phils 8-2. Walked him. So Minnesota has their first 2 men on base here in the 9th inning. Ron Rule is going to come out and talk it over with Silva. Torrey Hunter will be batting for the first time. Well, tomorrow at Pro Player Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, it'll be Vicente Padilla going against Julian Tavares. It'll be on Comcast Sportsnet tomorrow at 7 o'clock for Game 1 of a 4-game series, the Phils and the Florida Marlins. We'll be back in UPN 57 on Friday at 7 o'clock from Camden Yards in Baltimore. Torrey Hunter hitting at .295, 16 homers. He has knocked in 50. So Silva in ninth inning trouble here. Phil's down 2-1.
Phillies are not going to play for a bunt here, of course, from Torrey Hunter, who's their normal cleanup man. Just not started today.
One strike to Torrey Hunter. Ball deep to left center field, and this ball's out of here, just over the fence. Torrey Hunter in his only at bat, a 3-run home run, and Minnesota.
3 home runs in the game. All the scoring for the Twins looked like some kind of high pitch, and boy, it looked like he actually hit it out on the end of the bat a little bit, and Burrell thought he had it, and then it just kept going and going and goes over the wall. See here, it's a high slider, but he hit it on the end of the bat a little. Hunter thinks it has a chance, and Burrell, see, hit his glove. He really thought he had a chance to catch that ball, and nope.
1 ball and no strikes to Luis Rivas, who is 0 for 3. So it is a 4-run Twin lead now in the 9th inning. 1-1 to Rivas.
Big crowd here today, and that'll send them home.
38,000 plus. David Ortiz has moved into the on-deck circle to bat for Mike Jackson. This one back off into the press box, in and out of the press box. Twins have hit 3 home runs this afternoon. Ties the season high, surrendered by Phillies pitching.
One thing they've done is really not throw a lot of home run balls this year. In fact, the Phillies had out-hit the opposition in home runs coming into the game. Phillies had 66, the opposition 53. But 3 today, and there's Hunter right there saying, yeah, get a little high slider. Boy, that didn't look like a home run when he hit it.
No, the ball's really carrying well, but
so off their
to
bats.
the credit of their pitching, they've kept the Phillies in the yard.
Right.
Ground ball shortstop. That is 1 away here in the 9th inning. And we'll bring up Ortiz. So Ortiz hitting at .227, 4 homers. He's knocked in 27. As a pinch hitter, he is 3 for 10. So it is 5-1 Minnesota, and here is Ortiz. And strike to him. And the Phillies will have some tryout camps next week for players 15 to 22. Bring your own glove and spikes. American Legion players. Bring written permission from your post captain commander. Tomorrow it'll be at Bucknell University in Lewisburg, and Wednesday at Lackawanna County Stadium in Scranton, and also at GPU Energy Park at Lakewood. Those tryout camps start at 9:30 for registration. Camp starts at 10. Those scouts Ken Holtzapfel, Mage McDonald, Rob Holliday, Joe Romano, and Del Mintz will be on hand for those tryout camps for players 15 to 22. Bucknell University tomorrow and Scranton, Lakewood, New Jersey on Wednesday. 1-2 here to Ortiz. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Rips this ball to right field, but right at Jeremy Giambi. So that's 2 down, and that'll bring up the top of the order Christian Guzman. Guzman is 0 for 3. He has been hit by a pitch. Not a save situation, so Travis Miller is up, the left-hander. Not Eddie Guardado.
Up and in, huh? After that chirping early in the game. Probably just got away.
Guzman raised such a fuss over being hit by a Randy Wolf pitch with runner at first and nobody out, as if Wolf wanted to hit him in that situation. Jimmy Rollins throws out Guzman, and that will retire the side. But the Twins put 3 on the board on the 3-run homer by Torrey Hunter in his only at bat. 2 hits, no errors, and none left. We go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. It's Minnesota 5, Phillies 1. Lead by a score of 5-1. We go to the bottom of the 9th. 29-year-old Travis Miller is the new pitcher. Sandwich pick between the first and second rounds of the '94 draft. He was just called up from Edmonton. This is his 4th game for the Twins. Hasn't given up anything in 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. In Edmonton, he was 0-1 with 1 save, a 3.99 ERA in 24 games. Travis Lee will be the first one to face him. Then Tomas Perez and Todd Pratt here in the bottom of the 9th with the Phillies down by 4. One strike to Travis Lee. Travis Lee's grounded out, walked, and lined out on a nice catch by Buchanan. Tom Prince going to run out of room. No balls and 2 strikes to Travis Lee. Twins leading by a score of 5-1. Game's over at Shea now. The Mets have beaten Kansas City 5-4. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is a ground ball to Guzman at shortstop. Just got him, 1 down. Bring up Tomas Perez, who was struck out in a humpback line drive out and is grounded into a double play. And the Phillies just have had all kinds of offensive woes on this homestand. They're going to lose their 3rd series on this homestand. Team batting average under the Mendoza line on this homestand, and maybe they'll swing the bats better when they get on the road and get to Florida. Normally they hit pretty well here at the vet, but not this homestand. 2 balls and no strikes. 3-1. It's well hit by Perez. That's going to be extra bases off the fence. And Tomas will get a stand-up double. So Perez at second base with one out for Todd Pratt. Jason Michaels has moved into the on-deck circle.
Here it is out over the plate, and a one-hopper off the wall. The left fielder out there, Moore, thought he had a shot at second, but then he bobbles it. He didn't bobble, he just dropped out of his hand when he went to throw. So this game went from a one-run game to a four-run game. Of course, it was a one-run game. Guardado would be in here also.
Pratt has doubled, walked, and struck out. And strike to Pratt. Beats the ball foul, 0-2. Tomas Perez at second, one down here in the bottom half of the ninth inning. And 2 to Todd Pratt. Two balls and 2 strikes. Out number 2 here in the ninth inning. It's up to Jason Michaels to keep this game alive.
He came inside to Pratt and set him up, and now he goes away, and Todd knows that's a strike and just walks away.
Michaels batting at .291. As a pinch hitter, he is 5 for 21. Fastball for a strike. High fly ball foul. Kelty over. Makes the catch in front of the stands, and that will end the ball game for the Phillies in the ninth. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. The Twins win by a score of 5-1 here at Veterans Stadium and take 2 out of 3 in this series. Increase their lead in the American League Central to 6 games over the Chicago White Sox. Our Chevrolet player of the game is Tony Fiore, the winning pitcher. He came in the 5th inning of this game and pitched hitless ball through 3 innings.
Had a really good changeup, struck out Pat Burrell, got Tomas Perez hit into a 3-6-3 double play, and there strikes out Pratt. Although that one was questionable, but he did a terrific job, did the former Phillies farmhand.
Tony Fiore is our Chevrolet player of the game as Minnesota wins it by a score of 5-1. And we'll be back with the totals and recap of this afternoon's game right after the